Hello and welcome to Cultural Capital. I'm Nancy Durrant, I'm the Evening Standard Arts Editor. This week we've got two explosive pairings of star-crossed lovers. The actor Mark Rylance tells us why he's supporting a youth production of Juliet and Romeo that transposes the action to present-day London and turns the classic tragedy on its head. Two of the amazing dancers from the Royal Ballet take us behind the scenes as they prepare to dance the gorgeous romantic/tragic ballet Giselle together at the Royal Opera House. We're at Natural History Museum for Thing of the Week, and I'm reviewing the superhero movie of the moment, Eternals. First though, what would happen if it were Juliet who pursued Romeo, and how would it work in London? The critically acclaimed theatre company Intermission Youth has reimagined Shakespeare's work before, but this is the first time they've tackled the world's most famous romantic tragedy. We went down to the Chelsea Theatre to talk to the team.
This torture should be this hell. How? Why?
Shakespeare is something that I feel is a really good tool to have for any actor. The language and being able to speak those words in a space with an audience. There's something really beautiful about that. So I wanted to set something up for young people to have a place where they could come and just explore and play creatively. And so that's how Intermission Youth Theatre was started.
Actors are quite frightened by Shakespeare. They feel it's like a high bar that they're going to fail at. Audiences, I think, are frightened too, that you've got to be very educated and say something clever in the interval, or you've got to go to university to understand Shakespeare. And that limits the engagement and the authenticity and the involvement of the audiences and the actors. But when I've come to Darren's shows, these young people don't have that. They're not frightened of it. And the way he works with them, they're not trying to change themselves to be Shakespeare actors. He's able to get them to feel they own it.
Man, she killed your cousin. I need to heresy myself.
There is no trust.
What did you just say? No faith.
I not only get authentic, committed Shakespeare, which is what I like, played really sincerely and wittily and passionately, but I also get people mixing together and mixing their culture, their language, with the old language of this city when Shakespeare lived here.
You've heard what happened. It's all over the end. Juliet killed Tig.
No
honesty, man.
I've been told it's like, to be an actor, you got to learn Shakespeare, but I didn't really get a proper understanding for it. But after with Intermission, what Darren and Anna do, they break it down to be relatable to us so we can proper understand it. And after that, it's like, rah. Shakespeare's hard. This guy.
GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He is a proper G.
It's so inspiring for us and for the audience as well. So to know that we're doing something that's different is a really great feeling.
Nah, seriously, sis. I can't go.
How?
We're a theatre company, but we're also a sanctuary. In fact, the deeper purpose in a way is just to make a safe place where young people can play and express themselves.
The young people today are magical wordsmiths, and if we revere Shakespeare in a way that we, about his writing and what he created in terms of language, then we should be doing the same with our young people. And that's one of the reasons why we merge it as well. There's some talk that, it's demonizing Shakespeare or dumbing down Shakespeare because of the language, but Shakespeare was an innovator. In the same breath, we say that he created all these words that we use today, which our young people are doing. I mean, I always say this, if Chaucer read Shakespeare, he'd be horrified, wouldn't he, on the bastardization of the English language. But yet, when we're talking about our young people, we don't give them that same respect that we give to Shakespeare, who was a really good wordsmith.
She was just protecting herself. Yeah, there has to be a rational explanation for this.
Stop. Chill out. He's fragile right now.
Juliet and Romeo is at the Chelsea Theatre from November 10th to December the 4th. Now Giselle is, I think, and this is a technical term, the swooniest of the all-classical ballets. Peter Wright's production of the story of a peasant girl who finds out that her lover is both aristocratic and promised to another, tale as old as time, and then saves him from the wrath of a large number of furious dead women, is in fact one of the most beautiful in the Royal Ballet's repertoire. We went to meet them.
Life is mostly about love. And I think that Giselle brings that to an audience. We definitely feel it. We fall in love. Giselle is definitely heartbroken, and you're for certain traumatised by it all. But I think it's all emotions that we all experience within our life, sort of magnified.
Yeah, I think of the classical ballets, Giselle is probably the one with the more complex characters. So my character is one thing at the beginning, and completely changes by the end of it. He's a different person. And the same for Giselle. So there is a lot of subtlety in the story. And this is all told with a, with a magical, well, the second act is one of the classics with all the white tutus and, well, actually they're not tutus, they're long skirts.
Yeah, long skirts.
The classical long skirts.
Yeah. It's a romantic ballet. The dresses are much longer and more flowing and, actually very, very elegant. But when the dancers all come together, the willies, the 24 willies, it's one of the most powerful scenes in ballet.
The crossing of the willies, right, hopping across the stage is one of the
strongest scenes.
You should look out for that in the second act. And of course it's actually really tiring to dance. You get to the end completely exhausted because my character is made to jump until he's gonna die. So we don't quite die, but we come fairly close.
If she wasn't so innocent and so pure in her love for him, I definitely feel like in today's world you would be suspicious of Albran. But she is so innocent and so fully in love with him that she just doesn't recognise the signs.
And if I could choose, I would love the audience to come and quite dislike Albrecht at the beginning of the ballet, think him a terrible person, a terrible character, and by the end of the second act it's almost like you don't really want to like him, but you're now starting to feel a bit sorry for him. And this is all given by this pure and unconditional love that Giselle is able to give even after she passes to the next world.
I mean, it's a extremely hard ballet technically, and it takes so long to refine in the studio. Lots of pirouettes, lots of sort of pulled out balances and then sustained lifts.
And the quality of the arms and the movement.
Yeah.
And yet, you're right, there is so much to be told with what we call mime, ballet mime. And what I think what overall ballet does really well is then we tell it as people rather than as dancers.
Yeah.
And then of course I'm still doing a pirouette and a double turn and all that in this ballet. And yet when we're telling the story, we are not really dancers, we try to be actors and people. And I think that's what the Royal Ballet in general does really well.
Giselle is at the Royal Opera House until December the 3rd. Now, it's Thing of the Week.
This is the fantastic skeleton of the now extinct Steller's sea cow, and actually the Steller's sea cow is a member of the much larger order, the Sirenia, which includes the dugongs and the manatees. But the sad thing about the Steller's sea cow is that within 27 years of being discovered back in 1741, the animal had actually become completely extinct. And this is largely because of the movement of people from China and Russia across the Bering Straits into North America to exploit the huge numbers of fur-bearing mammals, the fur trade, which was incredibly active. And of course, as they're traveling across that stretch of water, they found these huge, slow-moving, herbivorous animals living close to the shore of the islands, particularly the Commander Islands and the Bering Island. Now, the thing about these animals, they could be up to about 10 meters long and weigh over 11 tons, and there's one account that a single animal could actually feed with its blubber and its meat up to 30 men for a month. So of course within 27 years, as I say, these things have gone completely extinct. And the key thing to remember when you look at this specimen, this is an example of the first extinction of a modern marine mammal in modern times by humans. And effectively, it's a message for us to take care of the planet.
There's really only one film in the running this week, and I really wish I liked it more than I do. For those missing the boom bang bang of the Avengers series, and I do sort of count myself among them in a casual sort of way, Eternals is meant to be the next big thing, a new angle on the Marvel universe that opens it up on a whole new galactic level.
5 years ago, Thanos erased half of the population of the universe. But the people of this planet brought everyone back with a snap of a finger. The sudden return of the population provided the necessary energy for the emergence to begin.
Just so you know, the Eternals are a race of magical space beings who more or less do what it says on the tin. They've been around for the oddly round number of 7,000 years, secretly protecting humans from an unpleasant species of monster called deviants, but not, crucially, from themselves. The next level up of celestial beings, the Celestials, forbid them from getting involved in our conflicts. When it eventually becomes clear why, everybody quite understandably gets very upset. Now perhaps this stuff is beyond my puny, pugnacious human brain, but I did find it weirdly boring. And I like a superhero movie. This one has several, including the first deaf superhero, Makari, the first unequivocally gay superhero, Fastos, and the first South Asian superhero, Kingo, all of whom are played winningly by Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, and Kumail Nanjiani, respectively, all of whom are great fun, and of all of whom we do not see anything like enough. The two leading Eternals are Cersei, insipid, and Icarus, smouldery, played by Gemma Chan and Richard Madden, both doing not quite enough with the very little, frankly, that they've been given. Cersei's main personality traits appear to be being nice and liking humans, which is a bloody low bar if you ask me. And Icarus is that hot guy from school who never moved on from being that hot guy from school. Even the credits are a bit annoying. They lavishly recreate beautiful and intricate wonders from across history, while somehow also implying that every bit of brilliant human cultural endeavour was basically down to this bunch of leotard-wearing do-gooders, which I found a bit rude. Still, this may not wash after I've said all that, but I didn't hate it. I loved Brian Tyree Henry's very slightly prissy Fastos, and Kit Harington, who plays Cersei's boyfriend, appears at the start and later, if you stick around, and I feel like I would watch the next film just to see more of him. Also, it's very pleasing to see special effects put to good educational use in reconstructing ancient masterpieces, including the entire city of Babylon. The tiles are to die for. Ultimately, this is a convoluted, explicatory 2.5-hour setup for a mammoth franchise with too many people in it. I genuinely think that the director, Chloe Zhao, who won the Best Picture Oscar for the supremely elegant Nomadland, didn't really have a chance. It kind of made me maybe want to watch the next one, but with this one, once is definitely enough. Eternals is in cinemas now. Thanks for watching Cultural Capital. As ever, do like us, share it, and subscribe to the Evening Standard's YouTube channel so that you never miss one. See you next week.